Our guest speaker, Jennifer, grew up in Parry Sound, attending McDougall and William Beatty public schools and spending her summers working on the Island Queen and looking after kids at area summer camps. After graduating from Parry Sound High School in 2002, Jennifer went on to earn an honors degree in International Development and Economics from the University of Ottawa. During her undergraduate degree, Jennifer went on as a visiting scholar to Dalhousie University in Halifax to study international development and public health. Following the completion of her undergraduate studies, Jennifer was awarded a Rotary Ambassadorial Scholarship that took her to Cape Town, South Africa to study for her master's degree in public health and HIV/AIDS. Jennifer now works as a senior departmental advisor at the Federal Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, where she specializes in food security and agricultural development policy and manages Canada's $5 billion foreign aid budget. Her work has provided Jennifer with the opportunity to travel all over the world, most recently to Ethiopia, France, Italy, Mexico, Qatar, and Senegal. We are extremely pleased to welcome Ms. Jennifer MacKay.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I haven't been here in quite some time. It's my privilege to spend some time with you this morning. I'm not a career counselor. I usually find public speaking more than slightly terrifying, but I'm a graduate of PSHS, a seasoned 10-year veteran of adulthood, and a survivor of entering the real world. The real world holds both limitless potential and immense opportunity for failure, but it will bring with it the most memorable and important experiences of your life. I'm just going to check so I know my clicker's on. Yeah. Good. Okay, so making use of the 2010 Word of the Year, which was actually coined by Stephen Colbert, I'd like to offer you 10 words of truthiness about life outside of PSHS. The definition of truthiness is here. Like the definition you see, my disclaimer is that the things I'm going to tell you are based entirely on my own experiences and cannot in any way be scientifically verified or considered absolute. So, truthiness number 1. From here on out, you will officially be considered a grown-up. Your reward for the last 17 or 18 years of responsible living will be almost complete and total independence. You can stay up all night, ban green vegetables, stop washing your hair and brushing your teeth, which is not highly recommended if you're going to be living in residence. Set up your own study schedule, skip class altogether, it'll be great. For the first 4 weeks of your independent life, you will be totally thrilled with your newfound freedom. You will also learn the downside of being an independent operator. The harshest lesson you'll learn in your first few weeks away is that you are now truly responsible for your own decisions. If you're going to school or pursuing a trade, you will quickly learn that unlike your teachers here, your professors won't check up on you if you're not coming to class or if you don't hand in your assignments. If you're directly entering the workforce or getting your own place, you'll be fired for skipping work and you'll freeze if you don't pay your bills. If you're directly entering the workforce, that's fine. The first time you get sick while you're away from home will be terrible, and you'll desperately wish that your mom was still the guardian of your health card. Independence will seem overwhelming at first, but I promise you, you will emerge with an incredible affinity for self-care. You'll learn how to prioritize and make decisions, and you'll learn from your mistakes. Truthiness number 2, financing. To fully embrace your newfound freedom, you're going to need your own source of income. This can come in the form of scholarships, a part-time job, a full-time job, or selling your collectibles online. If you generate your own money, you'll be in charge of how you spend it, and this is the ultimate key to unlocking your independence. Pay your own cell phone bill, buy your own food, buy your own books, try your very best to cover the cost of your tuition, and do everything you can to emerge from school debt-free. Do not be afraid to ask your parents for help. They have had significantly more experience than you at balancing the books, and they'll appreciate any effort you make to stay out of the red. Truthiness number 3, nutrition. It's highly likely that you will eat significantly more pasta and rice in the first few weeks you're away than you did in the whole 18 years you spent living with your parents. Eat fruit and vegetables, drink more water than all other liquids, immediately accept invitations for potlucks or dinners where it's likely that there's some kind of vegetable or protein served, and try to carve out a dedicated portion of your budget to make sure that you're eating food that isn't deep fried, covered in cheese, or full of salt. Though it seems like an awesome idea right now, eating pizza every day will not please you for more than 2 weeks. Truthiness number 4, travel. You cannot be expected to run the world without seeing the world. Travel frequently, travel uncomfortably, and go somewhere where they don't speak French or English. Trade in your phone for a camera, always leave a contact number, and this is a little plug for where I work. Become intimately familiar with the emergency services offered by Foreign Affairs Canada. Go on exchange, volunteer, go on a road trip, go camping. Travel is never a wasted investment. Fundraise, save your pennies, and try to get yourself as far away as possible. I've been successful in the real world because of the traveling I did after I left high school. In second year of university, I was, with lots of support actually from PSHS, I was given an opportunity to go to Africa and study. I met someone there that hired me for a job in Washington. When I went to work in Washington, I met someone there that hired me to go back to South Africa. And that's how I ended up getting my job at Foreign Affairs. So I can't stress enough the importance of travel. Truthiness number 5, strangers. Forget what you have been told throughout your life about keeping to yourself and avoiding conversations with people you don't know. In the real world, you will need to speak with people you don't know every day. Strangers will be the people that help you pay your student fees, make your coffee, give you directions, review your papers, cover your shift at work, or change the way you see the world. Don't make assumptions about people you don't know. Ask questions, engage new people with new interests, and use the information strangers provide you to become better informed, more tolerant, and ultimately more interesting yourself. On a delayed flight home from New York, the best example I have about strangers, on a delayed flight home from New York, I was stuck in the lounge at JFK, sitting next to the largest man I had ever seen in my life. I had just bought my first apartment. I was telling him all about my bathroom renovations, and we were having a great conversation, and I looked around and noticed that a number of people were holding playbooks for the NHL draft, which was happening in Ottawa, and slightly too late, I realized I was sitting with Zdeno Chara. And so now he knows what the inside of my bathroom looks like. I was mortified. He was thrilled to know that I was from Parry Sound. He's a big Bobby Orr fan. Truthiness number 6, disaster. It is highly likely that when you're in the real world, things are not always going to go according to plan. Bravely face the impending doom and disaster that often accompanies first-time independence by meticulously planning your exit strategies. Embrace the idea that you do not in any way know everything there is to know about being a grown-up, and understand that this is totally okay. Remind yourself regularly that it's okay to make mistakes, because you'll make lots of them. Don't be afraid to admit to yourself and others that you're scared, lonely, confused, uncertain, upset, overwhelmed, or disillusioned. Don't be afraid to call your parents, your friends, your teachers, or if things are extra bad, emergency services. These are your safety blankets, and you're lucky to have them. When every piece of ID I had was stolen, like every piece, passport, birth certificate, driver's license, everything was stolen while on vacation in Hawaii, I called someone from each of the categories I just listed several times. Don't be afraid to completely start over. You're still young, totally full of talent and potential, and no matter what you have been taught or told or come to believe, you do not need to get it right the first time every time. Unanticipated setbacks are necessary for developing resilience and adaptability, and you will need both of these things to thrive in the real world. Truthiness number 7, initiative. If you pursue post-secondary education, realize that you are being given the greatest of opportunities. Join clubs, start clubs, go to voluntary lectures, even when you're exhausted or otherwise impaired. Squeeze your education for everything it's worth, because you'll never have the same opportunities again. Offer free labor to organizations of interest to you, and make sure you're constantly doing something to pad your resumes. All through university, I took unpaid internships, which was financially not the savviest idea, considering Truthiness number 2. But it meant that I got to work places like the Canadian Embassy in Washington, David Suzuki Foundation, places I wouldn't have normally had access to. It also meant that I got to meet President Obama and Hillary Clinton when I was a Washington intern, and those experiences will be really useful to you when you do try to get a job when you're finished school. Spend time figuring out what your actual interests are, because if you're not doing something you think is important, your initiative will be wasted. Very quickly, and for 10 seconds only, there's a link here for a YouTube video that I was too embarrassed to show you, but it's a really good example of my initiative working to its full potential. So I'm going to move it now. You had your moment, and it's gone. Truthiness number 8, common sense. You've come far enough in life to know the difference between right and wrong. What you think you know about right and wrong will be tested in the real world. Use all the knowledge you've picked up in the last 18 years to make decisions that will keep you safe, healthy, and on the road to greatness. Common sense is solidified through experience. The first work trip I was sent on, I was very excited. I was going to New York. I packed my bag, I made a list, I checked it 1,500 times, got on the plane, arrived there, and realized that I'd forgotten my debit card and my visa. So I was stuck in the terminal of JFK Airport. I had to beg my way onto a shuttle. I couldn't pay for my hotel. Thank goodness for great friends. And common sense in this situation would dictate that you shouldn't leave the country without bringing your wallet. Truthiness number 9, humility. You will learn very quickly that even though you're a top performer with many skills, the world is full of people just like you. This may at first be discouraging, but ultimately will work to your advantage if you can embrace truthiness number 5 on strangers. Surround yourself with smart people, learn everything you can from them, and try to teach them something in return. Balance humility with excitement about what the future holds for you. Realize that not everyone that goes to university should be there, and recognize that some people going to college, pursuing a trade, or starting their own business could have gone to university instead. Last and cheesiest truthiness on the list, roots. Don't lose touch with your roots. I grew up here and I know our town is very tiny and that it can be frustrating to live in a place where people think they know all about you when they actually don't. Moving away will provide you with a clean slate and this will be incredibly liberating. But when you're far away from home, many weeks from now, it will creep into your mind that having the people you know and know where you've come from is actually a very comforting thought. My best friend from high school is actually here to watch my talk. So, come home often, call your friends often, don't just Facebook or text them, and make sure you do your best to preserve the relationships you started here at PSHS. Try your very best not to lose touch. In closing, the main message I'd like you to take away from what I've said is that you have what you need to make a go of real-world living, and what you don't have, you've got the skills to learn. Just because you're from a small town doesn't mean you need to have small ambitions. Be goodwill ambassadors, be smart, be brave, try your best, and have fun. Your parents, teachers, and principal are all incredibly proud of you, and I'm proud of you, and I don't even know you. My very sincere congratulations to you all. Thank you.